What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop. In this episode, we'll be previewing the game, the Mother's Day game against the Giants. Let's get into it. Of course, being partnered with Footy Live for all of these previews and reviews and over on my Instagram. Be sure to download the app if you're not. Apple, App Store, Google Play, all the links down below. Thank you again. Let's get into this preview now. Sunday, 4:40, Mother's Day. We take on the Giants. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a big game. I'm expecting, anything over 40,000 is going to be a win for me. We've got 70,000 against the Swannies, but lots of South Melbourne fans, lots of Sydney Swans fans in Melbourne. The Giants, I think they've got less than 10,000 members at the moment. I don't think there's a lot of members here, but it's at the GTL home game, so I would love a lot of people to come. I'd love to get 70,000. I don't think it's going to happen, especially with Mother's Day. 4:40 is a really weird time slot. Everyone wants to hang with their mums and stuff, so I understand that. I get that. Anything 35 to 40,000, I think will be a win. But besides all of that, it is going to be a huge game. There's a lot of implications going into this game, and my God, there is not a lot riding on this game, but it is going to be a big game for a number of reasons. So I'm recording this on Friday, so after the extended teams came out, we saw the likes of Rusco, Begg, Bianco get named. Billy Frampton comes out with a groin injury, so he'll be out for a few weeks, so we miss him for the Carlton game as well. Looks like we might bring him back for maybe the West Coast game. And now there's talks that Darcy Moore may or may not play. What I'm hearing from certain people is that this is going to be a game day decision. He's got an infection in his elbow. We don't know how bad it is. We don't know what it is. He's on antibiotics. He is training inside all week. Hasn't trained with the group all week, pretty much. So he's going to be touch and go. You remember a couple of weeks ago against Adelaide, he was pretty much touch and go for before 20 minutes before the bounce that he might not play because he has gotten sick. So we will see what happens with Darcy Moore. He'll get named tonight in the team, but it'll be a game day decision if he plays or if he doesn't play. I'm hoping that probably Rusco comes in for Billy Frampton. Love what he did when Murphy was out. So he was pretty stiff to get dropped, but having Murphy back, having Rusco back as well, that will help us. You would think that Cox gets the major run at the ruck, and then Ash Johnson comes and chops him out as well, kind of like what what Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox were doing last year, where they just worked in tandem forward line and in the ruck. But Billy Frampton out is a huge loss. Also hearing from certain sources that Bobby Hill, playing his 50th game, so congrats to Bobby after everything that he went through, will be the starting sub. Now, with all of that out the way, Collingwood, the Giants, have a little bit of history. We know that the 2019 prelim, and we know everything that went down there, but that feels like so long ago now. The Giants are sitting 13th. They haven't had a really good season. We're obviously sitting first and a game clear in first. Now, people are saying, oh, it's just the Giants, you can rest these sort of players or try some certain players. No, we should not be taking any game lightly, especially when we haven't been belting teams. We haven't had another performance like we had against Port Adelaide. So we're not belting teams, and we can't take any team lightly. None of these teams in the competition you can take lightly. We saw what happened last year when we played West Coast at Marvel. We got done. And that cost us a top 2 spot. So you cannot take these teams lightly. GWS have the ability to turn it on. Toby Green may or may not play. He's been named, but I don't think he gets up. If he does, he's going to be very underdone. But then you've got the likes of someone like Tom Green, who had 38 disposals last week, kicked 3 goals, and he was playing on Bontempelli. The Giants did lose to the Bulldogs, but when you've got Cadman, you got Jesse Hogan firing, Harry Himmelberg, they're very potent. They just haven't got the ball rolling. You got Cogs running through that middle. So Callahan as well. They are a very exciting team. They've only won 4, 8, 12. They've only won 3 games, but they've been in and around lots of those games. I remember that Carlton game I watched, they were in and around. They just couldn't really kick straight or get into their forward line a lot. So we are definitely going to have our work cut out for them. So rankings wise, the Giants do like to use the ball a lot. They like to use the ball by hand a lot. They're ranked first in handballs, second in disposals, and third in rebounds from 50 per game. So they do like that counter-attacking football. They do like that high-paced football and that run-on like we kind of do with the handballs, because you've got Josh Kelly, like I said, Kelly, Cogs, Green, Callahan, Ward as well when he runs through the middle. So you have a lot of those players that are able to sort of rebound from the 50, counter-attack, and run through the corridor. What they aren't good at, though, is they are ranked 13th in hitouts, 13th in marks, 18th in clearances per game. So they are not, well, they're the worst clearance team in the footy world at the moment. And we know that we are one of the best, you know, with the likes of Tom Mitchell, Nick Dacos when he's there, Josh Dacos, Crisp, DeGoey. So if that's going to be one of the biggest areas where we can absolutely smash the Giants, if we can score off clearances, that's going to go a long way in winning the game. Last week against the Bulldogs, the Giants were just able to outpossess the Doggies all around the ground. It was their center clearances and their stoppage clearances that kind of hindered them a little bit. They had more inside 50s. Like I said, they're ranked 13th in marks, so they weren't able to get those marks inside 50 despite their big power forwards. They did, although, kick 5 goals in that last quarter to only lose by, I think it was 15 or so points. So if they want to turn it on, they can really turn it on. They're really good. That they were... They had 16 tackles inside their forward 50 last week. We had 22 tackles inside our forward 50 last week. So we need to not only be a high tackling team, scoring off those turnovers and scoring off the clearances is where we're going to get the Giants. That's scoring off those turnovers, right? I think we're ranked 17th or 18th or something really low. We are a high opposition turnover team. We create a lot of turnovers with the way we play. The only thing is we never put teams to the sword, except for that round 2 where we just absolutely smashed Port Adelaide. I would love for this game to be a exercise in percentage boosters. You know, we'll be able to make the Giants turn over the ball, get a bit of those clangers and stuff like that to generate the possession back into our hands. The only thing is, when we go into forward 50, I think at the moment, I haven't got the stats in front of me, but we're loitering around the 38 to 42% scoring efficiency when we get it inside our forward 50. We get it inside a lot, we just don't generate enough scores. Yes, we generate the scores from clearances and stuff like that, but the scoring from turnovers, we're ranked so low for the amount of turnovers that we generate. We really have to flip that on its head against the Giants. I really do think that this is one of those danger games, like I mentioned earlier in the video, like the West Coast game last year, where we kind of took them a little bit too lightly. I know we're a very changed team in the 12 months since then, but this is a real danger game for us. So my big call and prediction for this video, I know I usually say, and I was right, I said we were going to win by 30 points and Checkers would kick 5 last week. We won by 29 and Checkers kicked 5. So I usually want to say, this player's going to kick 4 goals. Like Jamie Elliott might kick 4 goals this week, right? He might get off the leash a little bit. But I think my big call and my prediction are going to be the same. I think, after everything I said, we are going to absolutely put the Giants to the sword. And I want to put this out into the universe because positive manifestation. I think we're going to win by over 40 points on Sunday. Fingers crossed, put that out into the universe and the universe shall return it to you. One thing that I want to see, and that we see every single week, is just that run, that dash, that dare from rebounding from 50. We know that once we get an intercept possession, Isaac Quain or Darcy Moore, if he plays, I think he will, Nathan Murphy, they're always looking to get their hands off. They're always looking to push it out of our defensive 50, run, use the corridor. You know, are they going to tag Nick Dacos? I don't think Kingsley said that. They may or they may not tag him, so you're not really going to know. But we know that Sydney trying to quell him with pushes and shoves and off the ball hits and stuff like that. It did work to a certain extent, but he was still able to still able to generate other areas. He wasn't getting 45 and didn't get 10 coaches votes, but the smothers, the pressure, the tackling, the just setting up other sort of little things, he can do those things. So if you're taking him away from one area, he's going to excel in another. Look, I dare say they probably have a run with player with him, but I don't think it's going to be as hard of a tag as Ryan Clark tried to do and as the whole Sydney team tried to do last week. This is a very good opportunity to go 8-1 for the first time in maybe 10 years. I don't know. I know in 2012 we did it. Don't think in 2013 we had this sort of run on. But we have an opportunity to go 8-1 before we take on Carlton the week after. So, we're at the moment, we're leading the pack. We're a game clear. I'd like to get two games clear of most of these teams, because the teams are going to start, around those sort of areas are going to start fighting each other at the moment. So I would like to get two games clear of most of these teams. But like I said, we just can't take this Giants side lightly, especially at the MCG. What I want to see, though, is I don't care if there's 30,000, 35,000, 40, 45,000 Magpie Army, because we know it's going to be all of us. We need to be loud, and we need to intimidate the Giants. Like, they're going to have no supporters at all, and I want to hear that Collingwood chant. As soon as we get up by 3 or 4 goals, I want to hear that Collingwood chant. As soon as we're down by a goal or two, I want to hear that Collingwood chant. What I don't want, though, is the heart attack and we're down by 3 goals at 3/4 time to try and come back in the last quarter. We know we can outrun these teams in the last quarter, but I'd rather be up by 4 goals at 3/4 time and outrun this team and kick 7 goals in the last quarter. My heart can't do any more heart attacks. Please, I can't do it anymore. But look, guys, that's just been my preview of the Giants game. Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.